Here are the markets: local, organic, sustainable, fresh. Consumers play an important role. We encourage and support local businesses, I think, is the main thing. We say what we want. If we keep supporting local businesses and we keep supporting local growers, we'll have more of what we want.
Of course, you are what you eat, so you need to know what goes into what you consume in order to understand its impact on your health. I look for food products that are as minimally processed as possible and are hopefully locally produced and little in terms of environmental impact in their production.
I usually just ask them a few questions about their farm and what they produce and how they do it. I don't interrogate them. I think we need to drive it. We can't trust big companies, big corporations to drive it for us because they have a vested interest. Small producers are the ones that we need to be supporting and give them our dollar so that they stay in business. And local hubs like this are places where we can really do that. It's hard in big cities because you're out of touch with people in the land.
To ask if the seller themselves are the growers, so that kind of motivates me to buy even if it's a little highly priced. So that's what I usually ask, because I think if you are importing from distance, you know a lot of costs involved and carbon footprint and all those kind of stuff. But if it's grown locally and if they are the ones who are selling, I feel a little nicer and more responsible. It's mostly education and creating awareness. That's my belief.
With the chemicals and stuff, everybody's bringing up now that people are spraying the fruit and veg with, how that's affecting us as well. So it'd be nice to know what chemicals and stuff farmers are using and how that may affect our health.
I look for something that's been picked fresh, that has no chemicals at all if possible. So I don't necessarily look for organic, but I certainly look for things that are grown without chemicals, and I look for things where there's no middleman, so where I'm trying to buy direct from a grower or as direct as possible. While we know that everything is available to you in a supermarket, I think sometimes it doesn't hurt for us to just think a little bit differently and go, well, I can look somewhere else, or I can make the effort and I can ask the questions about where that food has come from and educate ourselves about how food is produced, how the production systems affect the environment, and how the growers are properly rewarded for the effort that they put in to provide sustainable food for us.
Dairy around, and this is one of their cheeses from, and I can't.
I would like my food to be sustainably produced, and I'd like it to be not produced by people in states of slavery. But it's not always easy to work that out, so it would be good if there were ways that I could connect with producers that produce food in those ways, and I guess producers that produce food in those ways are wanting that connection too, and it's not always easy for them to connect back to consumers who act like citizens rather than just mere consumers.
I would like to know that it is produced in a very healthy manner. I like to know how it is grown. I like to know that I'm making a little contribution to the biodiversity as well, in a sense that when food is produced, it's produced in a sustainable manner. That's what I like to know.
In terms of buying food, I would definitely look for the environmental attributes of it. When I say environmental attributes, it's more about sustainability and food miles, local production.
Certification is something that people it can be so onerous for people. I think to go through a certification process, it takes a lot of developing. There's a lot of confusion for the consumer. Organic is the only one we've really got at the moment in Australia. It comes down to We have to change the kind of general culture of management of our landscapes and animals so that the consumer is confident. If you're going to have collecting data about environmental outcomes on the farm, and I don't mean pure ecological outcomes, I mean the functioning of a landscape as well, it needs to be done not by any individual commercial interest. There needs to be a kind of background effort to make sure that we have a standard way of doing this.
The consumer has a huge responsibility to drive change, including towards sustainability in food production and agriculture and in our production of waste and how we manage that. Gone are the days of depending on a single person or our regulators, our governments. It really is a matter of each individual person making decisions towards the changes that they want to see.
In this university, we have a combination of agriculture and ecology together, and I think the more we can combine ecology with agriculture, I think the more we can learn about managing this continent, really.
If you really want to look for a food which is sustainable, you might not be able to find this information on the packaging.
So I think that probably a stronger education, like a stronger environmental education and about food is very, very important in the early process to later on being able to make a good choice of the food.
The Regen Ag movement is about taking this to a bigger scale, and there's so much discussion happening now out in society about how do we increase soil carbon and how do we increase our biology in our soils, and it's really exciting times because it's becoming very applicable to broad scale, and it's also very easy on a smaller scale.